Alrighty folks, so before we start scouting for high country mule deer, I just wanted to go over a few e-scouting tips as well as a couple new products that I'll be running this season for the first time. So first things first, got the new Alpine Wildcat tripod, carbon fiber legs, super lightweight tripod, just under 3 pounds. I went with the ball joint head to make it a little more ergonomic and packable, and it gives you a little bit more versatility and mobility when you got your scope on it. You can pretty much move it in any direction that you want it to just by loosening one knob. Super stoked to be trying this thing out. Feels like a super high quality product and I can't wait to run it this season. The second product is the new DRT Recon seat. It is a glassing chair, which I have never used before, and I'm super excited about because I'm always tearing holes in the bottom of my pants. So now I can avoid that. It also doubles as a rifle case. So you just stick your rifle in there. This part covers your optic and your action and protects those. Carrying handle on top. It also has a muzzle protector to keep debris and moisture out of your muzzle. This thing's about 2 pounds, pretty lightweight, and I'm excited to use it for scouting season. All right, so for e-scouting, I'm gonna be using the Go Hunt maps. So all you do, if you're on a desktop, you just go to their website, click on maps. If you're on your smartphone, just download the Go Hunt app and pull up your maps on there. So we just got logged in. I'm gonna pull up our maps here. I'm scouting Utah and Colorado. I love to hunt high country mule deer. So the first things I'm looking for are big high country basins, essentially. So anything over 9,000 feet in Utah is what I would consider high country. It's where the vegetation starts getting stunted and there's less trees, more sparse timber, if any timber at all. Once you start getting above 10.5, there's usually no timber, and that's your alpine zone. So those are the types of areas that I'm looking for when I'm scouting, is just what looks like good habitat to me on the map. So as we zoom in on our units, you start to kind of find the highest peaks and look for those areas that are conducive for big velvet bucks. So usually I'm looking for more greened out features. Sometimes it's hard to tell if the satellite imagery is earlier in the year and it's not greened up yet on the satellite imagery. It can be kind of hard to tell what's a good feeding feature and what's not. But I try to just use my prior knowledge of some of these areas. More or less, I'm looking for routes in, where I want to glass from, and which features I want to glass. When I'm e-scouting, I'm also looking for potential places to camp, potential places to find water, and all my access points for getting into that area. Once I've kind of dialed all those things in, it's all about just putting boots on the ground and figuring out where the deer are. So if I can't locate deer in some of the main spots that I've picked out on the map, then I'll just keep going down the list. I'll come up with, 5 to 6 different areas that I want to check in my unit that could potentially hold the deer that I'm looking for. And if none of those work out, then you just keep making new plans and keep trying new spots. And sometimes in the summer, it's good to go back to old spots as well, meaning like spots that you've already scouted earlier in the year, because sometimes those bigger bucks won't make it into their summer range until later in the summer. I've seen some of these big bucks not show themselves till late July, even early August. And if I wouldn't have gone back to those areas, I wouldn't even know that those bucks exist. So it's good to go back to areas that you've scouted previously in the year, but maybe didn't see the buck you were looking for because maybe he's finally showed up to his summer range. All right, now that we've done some e-scouting, figured out where we want to go, we've got our new products, let's go to the mountain. All right, we finally made it to the high country for our first scouting trip of the year, and I'm super stoked to be in the high country. This is my favorite time of year, a lot of optimism, and we've already seen quite a few deer, just smaller bucks so far. Nothing giant, but evenings are usually a little bit slower than mornings, so we're camping out for the night and we'll get up early in the morning and go glass a different basin and hopefully find a bunch of bucks. Alrighty, just got back to camp after the morning glass and packed up camp. It was a pretty productive scouting trip. We saw over 30 bucks, I'd say, and about 50 deer in total, and 2 potential shooters, 2 pretty good bucks that I think will finish out nice. It's still pretty early. It's July 2nd, and a couple of these bucks were pretty forked out, so I think they'll be good bucks, and we'll just keep coming up and checking on them throughout the summer and maybe check out some new areas and see what else we can find in this unit. But I'm excited, pretty hopeful with what we saw so far, so we'll see you when we're on the mountain again. Well folks, plans have changed quite drastically. So as soon as I got off the mountain from this scouting trip, I went to the gym and warmed up, started bench pressing, and I ended up rupturing my pec major tendon while bench pressing. Thankfully it happened at the bottom of the movement. I was able to roll the weight down to my hips and then stand up and throw the weight off of me, so I wasn't hurt any more than I already was. But it has rendered my archery season over before it started, basically. So I will not be archery hunting this year, unfortunately, pretty bummed about it, but I've come to peace with it. I am 4 weeks post-surgery now, and it's just been a slow go. This first 4 weeks just been mostly recovery and just letting the tendon and the muscle heal back together. And then I have an appointment in 4 weeks from now, and we'll start doing some stretches. And then in 4 weeks from then, I'll start doing some resistance training. So it's just a really slow process to get the pec tendon healed back to where it needs to be. And yeah, so I'm just being patient with the process, listening to what the doctors are saying, and trying not to do too much. I really don't want to re-injure it. I really want to heal nicely and be able to come back and get back to where I was at before the injury. So doing everything I can to help it heal and not injure it further. I am looking forward to some late season tags. The doctors have basically said I'll be good for those hunts. I've got 2 rifle tags in November for Montana. I've got a really good elk tag that I drew. I could have hunted archery on it. I wasn't really planning on it because I drew some other archery tags. So I was only planning on hunting the rifle portion of the season anyways. So I'll be hunting that and then a rifle deer tag in Montana as well. So I'm pretty excited for those hunts, and I'm actually heading out tomorrow morning with my brother to go scout my unit in Montana. So I'm hoping that we can go find some bulls and make the best of that hunt. I'll take you guys on that journey up there and show you guys what we find during scouting, and then Wes will be going with me on the hunt to help me out. Hopefully I'm able to wear a backpack by then. That's kind of the main concern for me at this point, is being able to, you know, lift a leg to cut up an elk, or actually throw on a heavy backpack to pack an elk out. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that hunt at the very least and salvage what's left of my season. But it was a major bummer to have this happen. I was not anticipating it at all. Sometimes life just does that to you, and the only way to get through it is to just, you know, accept what's happened and move forward and just try to set goals and attain those goals with what you're able to do. That's what I've done, and I'm trying to look at it with the silver lining of, I've been off work for a month during the summer and got to spend a lot of time with my family, with my wife and kid, and it's been really nice to be at home and really kind of reset. It's helped put some things in perspective as well. I feel like I was kind of burning the candle at both ends, and now I feel like I'm gonna come back a little bit smarter. I'm not gonna be pushing myself so hard in the gym, and I'm gonna listen to my body more and just allow myself to recover. I'm not gonna go do a 12-mile backpacking trip and then get off the mountain and go straight to the gym. It's probably not the smartest thing to do. Definitely any piece of advice I could give you is just listen to your body and don't overdo it. It's kind of a fine line that we walk sometimes, because you want to push yourself hard, and the human body really is capable of doing amazing things, but if you push yourself too hard, you might find the limit. I think I found the limit, and I'm just gonna be smarter moving forward. But we'll see you on the next adventure. That'll be Montana scouting for elk. So we'll see you on that one. Thanks for watching, guys.